Hey there, how are you today? Welcome back to Beauty Bee and to my first update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows 2022. The way that I have been doing Pan Those Eyeshadows this year is I have selected 4 shades randomly from my collection of singles or pans that are in palettes but are easily removable. Think like ColourPop or Natasha Denona. Not that I own any Natasha Denona shades. So the palette that I have put together then contains 4 shades that I randomly selected, as well as just 5 that were peppered throughout the rest of my collection. Here's what the color scheme that I was working with for most of January and this first day or 2 of February looks like. I also had a slightly lighter matte green, a little bit lighter than this one, but I took it out for a video maybe a week or so ago and I never bothered to put it back in. So this is what I've been using for the last week. And the 4 shades that I actually drew to work on were this pink, this blue, the brown, and then the shimmery olive green. So let's go through my usage, starting with the olive green, which is the shade 420 from Luxie. I have used this shade 5 times. I've used this a few different ways. I would say probably 3 of those times I used it all over my lid, but probably twice I used it as an outer corner shade or just under my lower lash line. I really liked it that way. I did that once with sort of an orangey gold look, which was very fall for January, but it turned out really well. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty. I also found that it matched maybe a little too well with this blue. I don't know that they really gave quite enough contrast for each other, but it turned out pretty, so I can't really complain. I just think that if I were to go back a month in time, I probably would have chosen a slightly different shade. Then another shade that I drew is Luxie Screwball. This shade I have used 7 times. I'm wearing it today as my inner corner highlight. It's that little pop of blue purple that you see. This shade has some pink purple iridescence to it, though its base is quite blue. I don't know if you're going to be able to, I can never get this to show up on camera. I'm sure to you it's just looking blue because all of my duochromes are very camera shy, but oh well, you get the idea. So there were the 2 Luxie shadows that I drew. Additionally, I pulled this pink. This is from the ColourPop Miss Bliss palette. I believe it is the shade Woe, though I play around rearranging my ColourPop palettes and I'm not 100% sure that I ever put them back in the right order, so let me know if you are aware that this is a completely different shade. But this is a quite bright, I would say mid-tone pink matte with glitter in it. It is what I have in my crease today. I've been wearing this mostly as a crease shade. I would say that I've probably worn it once on my lid with like a ColourPop Super Shock on top, and that was pretty, but I mean, it's a matte with glitter. What are you gonna say? It's probably not the best if you are taking photos, but when am I taking photos? Never. And I have used this 10 times so I can roll it out of the project. The other shade that we are going to roll out is again from ColourPop. This is from the Play It Jewel palette, which is one of their big 30 pan palettes. I don't remember what the shade was called. I just used it in my crease. That was it. I would often mix a little bit of the pink in because I found that the combination together really mellowed out this pink, which could be a little bit too bright by itself, and made this brown a little bit more interesting, because sometimes this was almost a little more neutral than I really wanted. So we have 2 new shades to roll in this month, and these 5 spots, I guess I can't say shadows, but the other 4 shadows in this palette, as well as this empty space, I can switch out if I want after I have drawn my new shades, but I may not want to. We'll have to see how things go. So let's pull the new shades. That's always the most fun part of this video anyway. All right, so I have my sheet pulled up. Brand array 211 182 true, meaning we're going to generate 2 random numbers between numbers 1 and 182. Integer is true because I don't want to round decimals. So let's do it. I get numbers 50 and numbers 42. Are those going to be from the same palette? No, number 42 is going to be from Aura and Out, and I'm just going to throw in a new rule here before I look at what the exact shades are. If I draw a pressed glitter, I have pressed glitters in 3 of my ColourPop palettes. I'll just take whatever the next shade is in that palette, just go one more to the right or down and over. Sound good? So, what did I say? Number 42 is the second shade in my ColourPop Aura and Out. And then shade 50 will be my first shade in ColourPop In a Trance, which I think is actually a glitter. So, let me go grab those and build the rest of my palette, and we'll go over the color scheme for the month. I have returned, this time bearing new shades, and I don't know what to do with this. The first shade I pulled is actually one of my favorite eyeshadows. It is a little bit similar to a color that I am working on in another project pan, but I don't care because this is beautiful. This is Clarity from ColourPop. It's from the In a Trance palette, which is that periwinkle palette that they made. And it is that glowing white that you see. It has quite a bit of purple and blue iridescence to it. It's very, very pretty. I see myself using this in my inner corner a lot. I've also used it as a cheek highlight a few times, and it's not like work appropriate, but it's subtle enough that I can wear it on the weekends and feel comfortable going to the grocery store or whatever. Then the other shade is, I don't know if I would classify this as a matte with glitter or a shimmery shade, but it is this sort of dreamsicle peach shade, again from ColourPop. This is, I think, originally from the Miss Bliss palette, maybe? I don't know. When I was looking at my Aura and Out palette, it was obvious that I had done some significant rearranging. But there is that shade in a very light swatch. I think I can build it up a little bit further. Yeah. And as I build it up, it becomes more obvious that that is in fact a matte with glitter rather than a shimmery shade. But it has more glitter than the pink that I had. So I'm interested to see how this will work on me. Yeah. From these 2 shades, along with the 2 that I carried over, which were Screwball, that green, and then, that was 420, the green, and Screwball, which is this blue. We were on an interesting journey through color, and I'm not sure that this combination really makes any more sense once I put it into a palette, but I think that this 2/3 of the palette is quite cohesive. I have 420, and then the peach, which was, I don't remember. I also pulled in this white gold. This is another ColourPop Super Shock from a palette. This is from the Baby Yoda palette. And it is, yeah, it's white with gold. I would say maybe it's just gold, but like the lightest, sheerest gold. It's very, very pretty. Even on me, and I have a really hard time with gold as a highlight, this can work. It's really pretty. Love that. I also added this shade from Lorac. This is from their Fairy Tale Forest palette. Maybe those shades have names. I don't know. But this is sort of a grungy take on, I would say, a mid to deep brown. There's definitely some olive undertones to it. It's an interesting shade. I think it will pair really well with what's going on in this 2/3 of the palette. And then I added a shade from the ColourPop Play It Jewel palette, which is this sort of dirty yellow gold with some olive to it. Isn't that pretty? I don't think I have another shade like that at all. And this mustardy orange from, again, from ColourPop. This is from the Mandalorian palette. I think those together will give me some interesting looks. And then we have the other third of the palette, which is a very different vibe altogether. So Screwball, we have this purple, which is from ColourPop Cabana Club. That's it. And the iridescent white purple shade. I think that this will be really pretty. Additionally, I think that this purple can work as an interesting pop with the rest of the palette. I think it'll be fun. So let's swatch that purple, and then I think that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you are doing Panda's eyeshadows, let me know so I can follow along with your project, because this is probably my single favorite Project Panda watch. Is it? It's definitely way, way up there. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!